Hey! Alright, it's Happy Mail Day today. So every 3 months I get a package in the mail, and it is part of a card subscription thing. So every 3 months I'll get this cool package in the mail, and I get a lot of people that always ask me where I get my cards from and stuff, because I'll get cards that aren't released yet in stores and stuff, so they're like super brand new, and this is how I get them. So what I get every 3 months will be like 2 card decks, and then there's something else. Sometimes it's like a pocket deck, sometimes it is like a journal or some kind of guidebook or something like that. But you always get something else too. So anyway, I got mine, and we're actually gonna go ahead and just open it and see what's in there. I do not know yet. I could go and cheat and look it up ahead of time, but I don't like doing that because it just takes the fun away from it. So let's find out what we got here. I hate scissors. Okay, so every time they give these, so every 3 months when I do this, I will get this little like card in here. It'll tell me about what's in the package that month. So this month there has 3 card decks, so there's 2 full-size card decks and a pocket deck. And every one of these cards always has this cool little like message down here. It's always different. So this one says, to be whole in your life's journey, it is important to have deep roots and high branches. And so, I kind of like these card decks. Okay, so I'll start with the one at the top. So this deck is the Divine Masters Oracle deck. It is by Kyle Gray, and the artwork is by Jennifer Hawkyard. It looks pretty typical of Kyle Gray's artwork, most of his decks are kind of like animated looking, or cartoonish. This one looks no different, although I can tell you just from holding this deck, I already feel like very connected to this one, and I actually am not somebody that usually feels all that connected to Kyle Gray's work. So I've kind of played around with a couple of his decks, and I haven't really connected with them. I'll be interested to see if I do with this one. I am feeling it now, but I haven't actually looked at it yet. So we will open these and kind of check them out once we go through them all. So the next one is this one here. So this is Angels and Auras by Radley Valentine and Dougal Fraser, with artwork by Brooke Stefanelli. So I am familiar with Mr. Valentine. I am not, however, familiar with Mr. Fraser. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with these decks. I'll kind of, like I said, I'll open them, go through them quickly, just kind of give you a little bit of an idea of what the cards are like in that and my thoughts on them. So lastly, we have this one, probably you are familiar with. It's a pretty popular deck. So this is a Mystical Shaman Pocket Oracle. And also, so most of these are all very, very new or haven't even been released to the public yet. So this one here was released in October of this year, October 2023. Obviously, the full deck's already been around. This is just the pocket deck. So this one here is by Alberto Villaldo. I always, it's like a tongue twister trying to say that guy's last name. But anyway, he's a super cool shaman. You can find him on YouTube and that. He does, if you sign up for his newsletter, you can get, little, he'll walk you through, shamanic guided journeys and stuff like that. He does he's a pretty cool guy. I like him. He has a whole school and stuff about shamanism. Shamanism is not something that I particularly feel very called to myself. but I totally respect it, and I find it very interesting. I have a lot of people that call me a shaman, but I think, honestly, it's just intuition. Anyway, so we have this one here, and it is also with Colette Baron Reed. She is one of my favorites, so I always feel very called to her decks and stuff. I really like that woman a lot. And also Marcela Lobos. So this is like actually 3 people that created this deck, and the artwork was by Jenna Della Grotalgia, something like that. I probably totally like murdered that last name, but anyway, those are the makers here and creators of this deck, of the pocket deck. So going back through, like I said, so that one was released, the pocket deck was released in October of 2023, but I know the other one was released for quite a while because I have seen it around. So I'm going to go ahead and just open these a little bit.
It makes it 80% more likely that we'll be in poverty when we retire. On top of that, women of color have the added challenge of having to fight against an oppressive system that is designed to make them financial disadvantage. We are on a mission to reverse
comes with your little
shocking facts.
Little book.
Identify as women or non-binary.
I don't know why I don't ever look in the books, but yet I like decks that come with books. I don't know why that makes any sense, but again, I don't make a whole lot of sense, so, you know, it works. So, I'm going to do, like, just a quick little shuffle here. We'll grab, like, a couple of cards. We have one jumping out already. We have 2 jumping out. Okay, so we're just going to go with those here. So, normally, you know, you would cleanse cards and all that stuff. I am not doing all of that here. Well, I'm, you know, just going to give you kind of a brief little looky here at what the decks look like and stuff. I'm not going to really worry about going through and doing all of that. So you can see this is kind of like a little bit of the artwork. So we have this one, Completion, Standstill, and the Circle. So I like the artwork on these quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to grab a card here. We'll just go with Completion since that's the first one that we pulled. Ooh, this is my jam. Anyway, so it's kind of neat with these ones is it gives you 3 different descriptions here of the cards. So it gives you the essence, it gives you the invitation in the book, and it gives you the medicine. So the essence, all things have a beginning, a middle, and an end. This is the nature of life, the seed, the flower, and the fruit, and of all human relationships. Completion suggests the fullness of the moment and the need to transform an old form into a new one. The invitation. You have finished a cycle, and there is no more growth or benefit from hanging on to the old. In regard to relationships, it is time to honor what has been and find a new form for the future. In your ventures, it is time to reap your harvest. Completion is a time for celebration. It is the end of summer when the fruit is ripe. And the medicine. So, clinging to the old form will bring only delay. When the fruit is left too long in the vine, it rots. You know that it is time to move on, yet are reluctant. Do not be afraid of hurting anyone's feelings. Remember that you are responsible for your actions, not the actions of others. Mourn what is lost so you can move on. Do not be sad. Be like the sun at midday who shines brightly, neither longing for sunrise nor dreading the dusk. So when I am reading these here, the way I would read these cards is I would read the medicine if the card was reversed, and I would read the invitation if it was upright. I have no idea if that is what they tell you to do in the book, but I don't really read cards according to the book. I just read them by how I feel, and that is how I would do that. The essence is just kind of a little bit of a description about the image on the card and what that image technically means. So that is the Mystical Shaman Pocket Deck. I like that deck. So next we'll just work our way up now since we started on the bottom. So Angels and Auras. This was released October of 2023. So again, it's a new one, just released. Okay, and so this one, inside the cover it says, "May the angels fill your life with color and magic." Book, like I said, I don't really bother with the books much. Okay, so one thing I noticed on these cards right away is that they kind of give you a pretty in-depth description, and it's pretty easy to follow. This would be a really good beginner deck, I think. So they give you this description on the bottom, but as you can see, they give you the description of what the card means when it's reversed, and they give you the description of what it means when it's upright. So that's kind of cool and very helpful if you're new to this kind of stuff. So these cards, I noticed, they're very vibrant, very, very colorful. They are also kind of like animated, like cartoonish. They've been sending a lot of cards like that lately. So kind of interesting, but we'll go ahead and we'll just kind of pull a couple of these ones just so you can kind of get an idea. We have them flying out all over. Okay, so they also, the nice thing with this deck gives you it gives you angels as well in here, so that's kind of cool. Okay, so it's kind of cool here. It gives you a it gives you like I said, a reversed and an upright. So all of these are upright. I haven't cleansed them. I'm not really doing a reading. I'm just kind of throwing a couple cards out there. So this one you'll notice on the top, so it tells you the Archangel Uriel, and also with the color red, or the aura color, stands for emotions, healing, devotion, and integrated. Then reversed, you have apathetic, wounded, unfulfilled, and divided. So kind of cool how these just lay it out like that. Makes it really easy to kind of read. There's not a whole lot of intuition that you need to use to read these cards. So if you don't really feel confident in reading cards, but you want to kind of get started, this would be a really good deck to start with. So then we have this one, self-employment. You don't really, it doesn't tell you a color here, but as you can see, like the main color in here is gold. Even up here in this little diamondy thing is gold also. So says commitment, resourceful, confident, and rewarding. And reversed, you have tentative, limited, timid, and drudgery. So yeah, that's that one. Then we have energy healing. You'll notice here that your color for this is obviously green, so that's the color that's standing out the most. It's also what's up in here in this little color. It says holistic, well-being, thriving, and vibrant. And then reversed, you have antiquated, neglect, lethargic, and nice. So it is kind of, yeah. I like the imagery on this card. I keep looking at it. I keep feeling like pull just to keep looking at it. Okay, anyway, I know why that is too, but we're not going to get into all that right now. So that's that one. That is the Angels and Auras deck. Okay, and then finally, lastly, our deck is this one here by Kyle Gray. I like this deck. I haven't even looked at it yet, but I just, sometimes you pick up a deck and you're like, yep, that one's mine. And then I'm feeling that with this one. So I'm going to go ahead and open that one up. Okay. Ooh, and I like this. So inside the cover, it actually gives you kind of like an invocation. It says, Divine Master, within the voice of my inner teacher, I call on you now. Awaken and activate. I am willing to remember you, and so it is. It's kind of cool. I like that. Okay. Oh, okay. And actually, it has a thing on the other side too, and I will show you that when we are done. So again, this is pretty standard for Kyle Gray's cards, stuff that I've seen of his being a little kind of cartoony and animated. Very, very colorful and brightly colored, and these are no different. They are very much the same, but I definitely am liking these cards. Definitely liking those. What we got here? Stuff kind of. So yeah, I'm liking these ones. I'm thinking that I will work with these a little bit. I will notice they are cards that you probably are going to want to play around with a little bit because they tend to stick a little bit like some new cards do. The Angels and Auras and the Mystical Shaman Pocket Deck, those are very, very smooth shuffling. They notice this one sticks a little bit, so it's definitely one of those that you're going to want to kind of work with a little bit, kind of break them in a little bit. Get them kind of sliding a little bit better. My foot is totally falling asleep right now. I've been sitting on the floor like painting today and just, you know, getting stuff together in here. I haven't really had my own little, like, my, you know, meditation room for a while, and my art room, I haven't really had that since I opened the shop, so kind of getting that stuff kind of put together here. Okay, so we've got a couple of cards here. All right, so this one, so it's kind of cool. This one is kind of like this kind of a neat deck here. So you have all of like these divine ascended masters and stuff. So we have, and they do have a description on the bottom. So this first one that we pulled is the Blue Beings, meaning light transmission, wounds healed, important information, and charging up. So you can see this is pretty typical of artwork for Kyle Gray. Then we have Shiva, Karma Release, the end of a cycle, debts are paid, choose your destiny. And then the last card, here we have the Divine Director, trust the process, create space for divine order to unfold. And there's that one. So this actually, this specific card pulled here, even though they have not been cleansed or anything, this card pull is very much meant for me. I definitely feel that with the messages that were given with that, so kind of cool. Anyway, and then the back of this box says, it's like almost like a closing. Says, Divine Masters, Keepers of Ancient Wisdom, I call on you now. Thank you for revealing to me what I need to know. I am willing to listen, and so it is. So kind of cool that it has that in there. Yeah, and there you go. So I have not done any of these unboxing things, but like I said, I've had people who have like asked about, you know, some of these cards where I'm getting them and stuff, and so I thought it would be kind of fun to just start doing these little surprise unboxes and sharing that with you, and giving you a little information about the cards itself. I know I always like to kind of have an idea. Like, I like to be able to see the cards a little bit before I actually buy them, and, you know, so I figured since I'm getting this, then why not share it with all of you, and, you know. Anyway, so when I like card decks, I usually will go ahead and go in and I'll repurchase an additional one of the packages so that I get them, and then I put a set of those cards into my shop down at Aligned Alchemy, which is located at 1 Main Street in Montello. So I do believe I will be doing that with all 3 of these card decks. I like all 3 of these. So yeah, you will probably within the next week be able to find all 3 of these decks down there at Aligned Alchemy. And if you are particularly interested in one of them and you want me to hold it for you, just let me know. We can you can message me and we can go over, you know, details as far as cost and that kind of thing, and shipping if it needs to be shipped out to you. So anyway, thanks for joining me for my unboxing of my new cards.